All right, so today I want to talk a little bit about gear that we take when we go pack rafting. So today, this is a scouting trip, and I've basically taken the train to get here, and I'm going to go through some of the essential items that are required for a pack rafting trip. Any pack rafting trip, really. The only thing today was, obviously, it was train travel. So, we're not in a super remote location. That said, nobody coming down to the river, and it's very, very cold. As you can see, there's ice and snow on the side of the river, and the river temperature is probably quite low, probably less than 5 degrees Celsius. So there are some factors that we have to take into account. Going to go through my gear now, lay it all out, and explain a few things about why I chose the gear and what the essential items are for just a short day pack rafting trip. This is also the base, the fundamental base of what I would use if I'm going on a multi-day expedition. The only thing that I add is I may change some of the items in this setup today if I'm going on a multi-day expedition, and I may change those for lighter weight options or depending on where I'm going and where I'm paddling. And obviously I'll be adding a lot more stuff like food, cooker, tent, sleep system, etc., etc., etc. All right, let's get it done. All right, so I've got my gear laid out here. I'm just going to go through it really, really quickly. As I mentioned, all of this gear is the same stuff that I would use if I'm on a one-day trip and I'm using public transport or I'm hiking in, or I would expand or change some of this gear if I was going on a multi-day expedition. And the base stays the same, but then I just expand on that and maybe swap out some gear depending on what my objectives are and what I'm trying to achieve. So let's get into it. So first thing I want to talk about is how we protect ourselves from the elements, where we're going to be and what risk is going to be exposed to our body. So I'm now wearing 3 layers here. It's cold today. I won't be paddling in the down puffy jacket, but I do have thermals on underneath here, some nice warm layers, and also nice warm socks that I will be wearing on the river today because it is quite cold. The next thing after that is you want to make sure you've got a high quality dry suit, okay? Now, realistically, there's nothing on the market below 1 kilo in weight that is going to be quality enough for a multi-trip expedition. So if you're really serious about your safety, you're going to a cold water environment, you want to be looking to get yourself a nice quality dry suit. And as I said, some of the pack rafting specific ones that you can get, the super lightweight ones, they're not going to last a couple of days. Yeah, they're not a long-term investment. They may save some weight, but you can't reliably depend on them. You're looking at about 1 kilo of weight there. This is a heavier one because this one's from kayaking, so this is my kayaking dry suit, but you can get the Kokatat Swift Entry ones or some of the NRS ones and some other brands that are around about 1 kilo, 900 to 1 kilo, 900 grams to 1 kilo, and that's about the weight you're looking at for a dry suit. Next, we want to move on to our helmet. So this is my standard whitewater helmet. I use this one for kayaking and for pack rafting. Good solid helmet. I'm in a whitewater environment, so I need a helmet. If I was going to be paddling a remote expedition, maybe fjord crossings, sea crossings, or class 1, easy class 2, I may not take a helmet with me, okay? Or if I'm bike rafting, I'll just use my bike helmet because that's available. Today, I've got my PFD with me. This is an Astral green jacket. This is actually 1.5 kilos in weight, so it's not the lightest. This is a heavy duty professional whitewater guide jacket. So it has extra features, reinforcing, and then of course here the quick release rescue belt. I'm wearing this one today because this is a day trip and I'm not so concerned about weight. Then what I would be doing though, the key things to notice here, this is 70 newtons of buoyancy. If I'm going on a whitewater trip or a backcountry trip, I want to at least have 60 newtons of buoyancy. My personal opinion is you want to get a foam PFD, personal flotation device. You don't want to get inflatable ones. You want to get a foam one. You want this to be reliable when you're on the water. The lightest weight ones range from about 500 to 650 grams. We sell a high quality one in Packraft Europe, which is the Astral Willis 515. Very popular jacket. I think that's about 650 grams. Okay. One thing to concern though, if you are on a multi-day expedition, you might want that extra storage space. So if I'm on a multi-day remote expedition, I want to be keeping essentials on my body. that are essential in case I do lose my packraft for an unfortunate event. I want to be able to light a fire. I want to have an extra blade on me so that I can do some campcraft skills. I want to have some form of shelter there as well. I obviously want to have some communications, whether that's an inReach or a sat phone or a cell phone, depending on where I am. And I want to have some form of basic first aid, water purification, and a snack or some food. That stuff will get me out of trouble and it'll keep me alive for at least, 48 to 72 hours if I'm smart about how I handle it. I'll cover more into that a little bit later on. Next thing today, I have my throw bag. I'm paddling on my own, so probably not necessary today, but I do feel naked without a throw bag. And today I've also got my canyoneering shoes. Very, very heavy. These, especially when they're wet, they're heavy, heavy boots. I'm wearing these today for the extra added warmth because it is cold and I am paddling a self-bailer. And yeah, that's the reason why. If I'm going on a multi-day expedition, I would definitely be changing these for a lighter set of footwear and using some other systems, which we'll go into later on. Now, as for the paddle, today I've chosen to paddle the 4-piece Spade Izzle. This is a great whitewater paddle from Spade. I've really been enjoying this paddle. Carbon shaft, relatively lightweight, 4-piece paddle, adjustable so you can adjust the length and the feather. We run these from 197 to 207 centimeters. So even the smaller paddlers, or if you want to go kayaking with it, you can. And today I've got my NRS Pogies to keep my hands warm. Great paddle. There are lighter weight options out there. For example, a lightweight expedition, you'd probably be looking at the Aquabound Whiskey, 750 grams. That's a great paddle. Anything lighter than 750 grams, and you really don't have something that's reliable and durable enough for you to deal with real paddling out there. So the Aquabound Whiskey, that's 205 centimeters long, I believe. 4-piece breakdown, carbon fiber shaft. That works great. It's still a fully functional paddle that's lightweight and you can rely on it. So that would be my go-to for bike rafting and lightweight trips. All right, next things we can see here, first aid kit. You guys make up your own mind. This is just my standard first aid guide kit, so it's a little bit bigger than normal. Depending on where I'm going, I might take a smaller kit or a bigger kit. A bottle of water. It's cold today. I preheated this water so it's nice and warm so I don't end up drinking cold water in the middle of the day. Got a snack for me, and I've put in these containers are amazing. This is a thermos canteen from Clean Canteen for food. And what I do is I put a dehydrated meal in it and then it's ready to go, and I've got a hot meal ready for me. Critical on these days. Here I've got the Sockdolager bag that goes behind the backrest and the packraft, and I'll go into a little bit more details about what I've got in there as well for today's trip. Then of course, there's the internal dry bags for the packraft so I can stuff some stuff inside the bag, inside the boat, and it won't move around. And my Hyperlight Porter, I believe that's a 7400, the 90-liter version. That's a great pack. It's been super reliable and comes in just over 1 kilo. So there's some of the gear. I'll go through more details now.